Hey everyone, Derek here with a quick news update on Fire Emblem Warriors, and we have sort of a compilation of news that has come out about the game since E3, as well as some potential leaks that have all been discovered by Lord Kano. He sort of compiled it all since people weren't really talking about it, and that kind of helped because there's so many disparate things and not everything really came out as much, so we want to thank him for this, and of course we're going to relay this information to you, so you have a better idea of what exactly to expect from Fire Emblem Warriors. So first of all, local multiplayer has been confirmed thanks to an interview by Nintendo Life, and in it they ask, is Fire Emblem Warriors going to have local split screen similar to Hyrule Warriors? And Hayashi-san, who they interviewed, said, yes, we anticipated people would like that kind of gameplay, so we've made local co-op available where you can separate the Joy-Con from the system and play split screen. However, when asked if there's any type of online functionality, Hayashi said, at this point we don't have any online functionality, it's more offline multiplayer. And so it's going to be very much like Hyrule Warriors, where you're able to play with friends locally, of course, but nobody online, which is kind of a bummer because the game might be able to handle that a little better. Maybe not. It's hard to say with Musou games. I've not played enough of the series to know the ins and outs and the intricacies of the series and how it might work online for various people. But at the very least, we are getting offline multiplayer. In the same interview though, post-launch support with DLC was tackled, but no definitive answer was given. They specifically said, Hyrule Warriors enjoyed a very long life post-launch thanks to DLC and free updates. Are there any plans to support the game after launch with additional content? And Hayashi said, we definitely appreciate the fact that people are looking forward to that kind of follow-up after the main game is released, but right now we're just focused on creating the main game, so that's something you'll have to wait to find out about until later. So nothing definitive, but I'd be shocked if they don't have some form of DLC for this game, especially with how well it worked out for Hyrule Warriors. The next interview actually comes from Kotaku, where they confirm that you can change classes. Hayashi said that yes, we definitely anticipated people wanting to change classes. You can level up and it will change the character's appearance as well, so that aspect of Fire Emblem is coming to the game too. And when it came to a hardcore mode or a permadeath where you actually lose characters forever if they die, Hayashi said, we know Fire Emblem fans are both hardcore and casual players, and much like we have options for both in the Fire Emblem series, we also offer a hardcore mode in this game. You can choose a more difficult mode where you have to think strategically or else you'll lose characters, or a more casual mode where you will not lose characters. And when asked about permadeath, Hayashi said, maybe not in the same way as the main Fire Emblem games, but in a way that makes more sense for a Warriors game. So not exactly clear, but I'm still very curious what they have planned for this hardcore mode and what it might entail, that it's not quite like the main games, but it's also, well, hardcore. Now there are other things that they did mention on the treehouse, like the fact that you won't be able to get characters to marry each other, but you can forge strong bonds and have those types of interactions between characters. And of course the focus will be Shadow Dragon, Awakening, and Fates. But those are the focus, so maybe we'll still have a chance of other characters popping up as well. Hard to say for sure, but the final bit that was discovered was by Serenus Forest, who caught two unannounced characters in the Treasure Box edition of the game who look quite a bit like male Robin and Lissa, both from Fire Emblem Awakening. And there's also a second Marth-like character who's very likely Lucina, but it's a lot harder to tell. So we'll have those images in there as well, but it is notable that Famitsu quickly removed that specific part of the limited edition once the discovery was made, and honestly these are three very likely characters to make the roster. It's kind of unheard of that Lucina wouldn't make it in, making for yet another sword user, but Robin, even though he uses swords, would be probably more of a mage class that maybe mixed up swords with it as well, but definitely more mage than anything else. As far as Lissa, well, I'd be very curious to how a cleric actually fights on the battlefield, but we don't really know for sure. But those are three pretty standard choices, but not necessarily bad ones based on how they fight, because as I was playing Fire Emblem Warriors at a Nintendo event in New York, I did see that each of the characters, even though they use swords, did feel different from one another. So it sucks that there's so many sword users and they're focusing on the obvious ones, but at least they will play differently. So we'll have to see just how they change all this up to make each character feel unique. But that's all the information that's been compiled about Fire Emblem Warriors so far from various interviews, and of course we want to thank Lord Kano once again. But with all that said, what do you think about these new details on Fire Emblem Warriors? Let us know in the comments, and of course be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Fire Emblem and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.